Hey everybody, if you've been here with me lately, we've been on one heck of a journey where things are just so rough right now and incredibly difficult. They're just so overwhelming and heartbreaking and disappointing, and I've shared a lot of that with y'all, and you've been so gracious and kind and prayerful with me. But as I'm learning, I pray that you're learning too. And in this season, God has taught me so much about his faithfulness, about his goodness, about his expectations, that when we are in the midst of suffering, we are to surrender everything to him, rely on him fully, and just lift up our hands in praise and in adoration and in expectation that he will fulfill his promises and he will fulfill our needs. But sometimes it doesn't look like that. Sometimes it looks like everything is just falling apart and God is nowhere to be found. And even when he is to be found, it can be so frustrating because you're like, you right there, I see you. You're right here in the midst of everything. You have been the whole time. So what is going on? Like, it's just so confusing sometimes. And I was reading the book of Job, and we're in chapter 3, and this might seem a little drastic, but I have felt this way so many times in the last 11 years of just constant life-threatening health issues and surgeries and things you can't even imagine. But there are videos on them on YouTube, and it says here, let those who curse it curse the day, who are ready to rouse up Leviathan. Let the stars of its dawn be dark. Let it hope for light, but have none. Nor see the eyelids of the morning, because it did not shut the doors of my mother's womb, nor hide trouble from my eyes. Job has just lost everything, and I've been through this a couple of times, and it feels just like this. He is cursing the day of his birth for an entire chapter. It's 2 pages of just, ugh. And I get that. And I think you get that too. Life can be so hard sometimes and so confusing, but the one thing we have to remember is how the book of Job ends. After all the lament and all the complaint, God appears before Job and says, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Do you bring the hail from the heavenly storehouses? Do you know where the wind comes from? It's perspective. It's always perspective. So whatever you're going through right now, remember that God is still good, that he's still on the throne, and he's still working things out for you, because God is always faithful, because he cannot deny himself. Go with God today.